Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. So today's tutorial I'm going to be showing us how to cut and sew this Adire jumbo pants as you can see here with an elastic band and a pocket. So I have 2.5 yards of my Adire fabric here. So you can use your Ankara fabric if that's what you have. And this is the calculation we are going to be working with for today, so please let's pay attention. So the hip circumference I'm working with is 42 inches. The next measurement is our crotch depth, and our crotch depth is our hip measurement divided by 4, which gives us 10.5. Now because this is a baggy pant, I'll be adding 1.5 inches for ease, so that gives us 12 inches. So our crotch depth is going to be 12 inches now, not 10.5. For our crotch extension, the formula for our crotch extension is our hip measurement divided by 16 inches. So that gives us 2.625. So approximately 2.6 is our crotch extension. So now to fold our fabric, we also have to calculate that so we know we don't waste our fabric. We're working with limited fabric. So to fold our fabric, I'm going to say our hip measurement divided by 4, which is 10.5, plus 4 inches for ease. So the ease we're adding to our pants is 4 inches for the baggy, to give us the baggy effect we want. Then plus our crotch extension of 2.6, which gives us a total of 17 inches. So I folded my fabric now into 2, and I made sure I folded this to give us 17.5 inches. So from the top of my fabric here, I'm going to draw out a straight line. This is where our waist is going to be starting from. So the length of our band is going to be 2 inches. So I'm going to be placing that 2 inches point on the waistline I drew before I mark our hip line of 8.5 inches, then our crotch depth of 12 inches. So I'm going to exclude our band from this measurement. So our band is 2 inches. I place that 2 inches on the waistline there. Then I'm going to mark our pant length, our trouser length, plus 2 inches for folding allowance. So I'm working with a pant length of 40 inches plus 2 inches for folding, that's 42. So next I'm going to be marking our hip measurement divided by 4. I'm going to be marking it on our crotch line there. So this is on our crotch line. I'll mark our hip measurement divided by 4, that's 10.5. I'll mark it. I'll mark our ease of 4 inches for this pant. Then I'll mark our crotch extension of 2.6 inches. So you can see that it got to the end of our fabric and nothing is going to be wasting. So I'm going to be taking that 10.5 inches plus the 4 inches ease. I'll mark, that's 14.5 inches. I'll mark it all the way to the waistline. Then draw a straight line. So after drawing our straight line now, our crotch extension after this line is 2.6 inches. I will also mark 2.6 inches on this straight line here. Then on the waistline, I will go in with 1 inch. From that point, I'll go in with 1 inch. Then I'll connect that 1 inch point to the 2.6 inches all the way to the crotch extension. So you can see how I'm connecting it. I'm using this curvy part of our pattern curve. Or you can also do this with your free hand if you don't have a curve. So I'm connecting it to the 1 inch I went in with on the waistline. Okay, so this is it. The marker is not very clear, so please let's just pay attention. So next I'm going to measure all I have from the crotch extension all the way to the end, and I have 17 inches. I'm going to mark that straight down. I'll mark it all the way straight. Then on the waistline I'm going to come down with 1/2 inch. So I'll connect that 1/2 inch back now to the waist, to the starting of the waist on the other side. So this is so our front can have a little bit of curve. Then I'm going to cut out, and I'm cutting 1/2 inch above the straight line I marked for our seam allowance. So I left seam allowance on the top of on the waist, 1/2 inch seam allowance. Then I'll cut the side open. So this piece we've cut here is our front block. the two sides of the front. So next I'm going to be cutting the back, and I'm going to fold my fabric again into two, but this time around I'll be folding it and I'll be adding extra 2.5 inches to this fabric, because the back is bigger than the front, so I won't be folding exactly 17.5 inches like we did for the front. So now I'm going to be folding it 20 inches. Then from the waist there, I'm going to go up with 1 inch. This is to accommodate the butt at the back. Then from that 1 inch I went up with, I'm going to connect it back to the front waist with a straight line. So I went up with 1 inch on the crotch side. I'll connect it back to the waist. Then on the crotch side, the center back, I'm going to be marking 2 inches all the way to the crotch extension at the back. The crotch extension at the back is going to be 2.6 inches. So I'll connect that 2 inches from the waist. I'll connect it to blend with the 2.6 crotch extension. Then I'll take that 2.6 all the way down. So basically the seam allowance on the crotch side is 2 inches. I'm blending it to the 2.6 inches crotch extension for the back. Then take it straight down. I hope you understand how I got that. Then I'm going to be cutting also. So the back is bigger than the front with 2 inches. So I'm just marking the front and the back. Now I want to cut our pocket facing and our pocket bag. I'm going to fold my fabric into 4. I'll fold it into 4, and I'm going to measure the width of 9.5 inches and a depth of 12 inches or 13 inches. I'll measure a depth of 13 inches. Then I'm going to cut out. So you can cut it to be box, you can curve it this way. It does not really affect your pant. Then I'm going to open up the sides. So with this now, I'm going to be having 4 pieces of fabric here. 2 is going to be for my pocket facing and 2 is going to be for my pocket bag. So I'm going to set 2 aside for the pocket bag, and I'm going to set 2 aside for the pocket facing. Now I'm going to mark the curve of our pocket on the front piece. This is the front piece. I'm first going to mark 1 inch for our sewing allowance. Then I'm going to mark 1.5 inch for the opening of the pocket. Then I'm going to come down with a depth of 7.5 inches. At this point I marked 6.5 inches, but I later corrected that to 7.5 inches. So the length of our pocket should be 7 inches plus the seam allowance at the waistline. That gives us 7.5 inches. So I'm going to blend down 1.5 inches on the waist now. I'll blend it to touch the 7.5 inches. So we can have that curve of our pocket. Then I'm going to place 2 of this piece of the pocket facing underneath the front piece of our pant, and I'm going to cut. So please pay attention. You can see how I'm doing this, and this is what we are having. This is our pocket facing. We've cut out our pocket facing. So for our front piece now, I'm going to be pinning the crotch, the center front. Then I'm going to sew it using 1/2 inch. I'll open it up. Then I'm going to be sewing the pocket facing. And to sew the pocket facing, I'm going to make sure the right side of the pocket facing faces the right side of our trouser. It faces the right side of the pants. Then I'm going to sew with 1/2 inch. I'll make sure the right side of the facing is facing the right side of the pant. I'll sew with 1/2 inch. Then for the back also, the center back, I'm going to be sewing with 1/2 inch to close the crotch. So this is our front and this is how it is. I've sewn it here. I'm going to push it in. Now I'm going to be attaching the pocket bag. So the pocket bag, the front side is going to be facing up. I'm going to place it underneath my pants this way, making sure the curved edges are facing each other. And I'm going to make sure that it's aligning on the waist and on the side. You can see that the waist of the pocket bag is the same with the trouser waist. Then I'll turn it over to the back and sew the facing and the bag together. The facing and the pocket bag, I'll sew it together at the back, then close it up at the side. Then come to the waistline and sew it down so that everything stays in place. I'll sew the waist down, sew the side down, then sew the back. For this other side also, I'll arrange it properly, making sure the waist aligns and the side aligns. You can see. Then I'll sew the waist, I'll sew the side, and sew the facing and the bag together. So I've done that here. Look at what we are having. And this is it. So now I'm going to be placing the back piece. This is our pocket here. I'm going to be placing the back piece now on top of the front, making sure the right side of the front faces the right side of the back so we can shape our pants. And I'll be using 1 inch to close up the side, and also the inseam I'll be using 1 inch to sew it all the way. So I'm going to be sewing the 4 sides with 1 inch seam allowance, and this is it. I've also gone ahead to hem the down of our trouser here. Now I'm going to measure our waist so we can attach our band. And for our waist, I'm having 26.5 inches for our waist. I've cut out my band and I've also ironed stay on it. And I have a band width of 5 inches and a band length of 27 inches. So our waist is 26.5, but I cut 27 inches here so I can sew with 1/2 inch. And I said the width of our band is 5 inches. So when we turn it on fold, we are having 2.5. So by the time we sew half, we are left with 2 inches band. So after closing up the side, I'm going to fold our band into 2, and this is what we are having. So I'll be attaching this to my pants now. I'll just pick up the 2 sides that are open, place it on the waist of my pants, and sew it all the way. So I'm just going to be sewing it using 1/2 inch. I'll sew it till I'm close to the other side. I'll sew it round, but I'm not going to finish it. I'm going to leave small openings where we can insert our elastic. You can see I didn't sew it to the end. So we'll be inserting our elastic through that hole there. So I've cut out my elastic band of 29 inches. I cut out 2 of this. 2 of my 1 inch elastic. I don't have a 2 inch elastic band. I have just 1 inch elastic band. But if I'm inserting a 1 inch elastic band into this 2 inches waistband, the elastic is going to turn. It's not going to lay properly. So I want to sew this elastic this way so that it increases the width of the elastic band so that it is full inside the band of our pants, and it's not going to turn or twist when we're wearing it. So to attach these 2 pieces of elastic band together, I'm going to be placing it on top of each other like so. So I'm placing it at the tip. I'm making sure that it is not climbing each other so much, just at the tip. And as I'm sewing, I'm going to pull this elastic band. I'll pull it, because if we just sew it and we don't pull it, it's going to restrict the elasticity a bit. So I'm going to pull it. As I'm sewing, I will expand it and sew. I'll pull it and sew. So with this now, we will be able to stretch more. Do you get? To be able to stretch more. So I'll keep on doing this till I've done this for the whole 29 inches of my elastic, and this is it. This is what we are having. You can see it's still maintaining its elasticity. So now I'm going to fix my safety pin And from the opening we left when sewing our band, I'm going to locate that opening. Okay, then I'm going to be fixing our band from that opening. So I'm going to make sure our band does not twist in any way as we are fixing this. We have to make sure our band remains straight as we're fixing this. I'm going to fix it all the way. Then after doing that, now I'm going to be sewing the two bands together. I'll take out my pin. I'm going to sew it with 1/2 inch. Then the seam allowance, I folded it to one side and sewed on it again, like I flatted on the band, on the elastic. So this is what I have. I'm going to close up that opening that we have on the band, and this is how our pants came out, looking very beautiful, as you can see. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like this video and share. Bye for now.